Welcome into Golden State Warriors today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Today's show presented to you by our friends at the Fetch Rewards app. 3,000 bonus points and a free download if you go to chatsports.com/fetch. Chase, what is the Fetch Rewards app? It's an app where you can scan your receipts regardless of where you make a purchase. And by scanning those receipts, you get points back. Those points over time stack up like Steph Curry three-pointers, and you can get gift cards back for those receipts. Chatsports.com/fetch. Enter the promo code Warriors. You'll be on your way to getting a free gift card by plugging in that link in that promo code. 3,000 bonus points to be exact. We start off today's show with the latest Warriors news, all pertaining to James Wiseman, the number 2 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. And it looks as though Wiseman getting closer and closer to returning to the floor in game action for Golden State, hopefully in time for the playoffs. Wiseman participated on Tuesday in contact drills for the first time in 10 months. To be specific, he took part in a 3-on-3 scrimmage. Back in April, he tore the right meniscus in his knee. Steph Curry, over his career, has dealt with some injuries. He's had this to say about one of the key young pieces on this roster. I'm excited for Wiseman. There are a couple more hurdles to get through to get him back on the floor, but he has an amazing opportunity to join us at the right time down the stretch to see what he can provide. Now, it's been 10 months since we've seen James Wiseman on the floor. He tore that meniscus back in April, and throughout his rookie year, after being the number 2 pick out of Memphis, he flashed a lot as a very, very good player. So if you're excited to see James Wiseman again, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Now, Bleacher Report did something interesting with the NBA trade deadline coming up on Thursday. They kind of took a look at the Golden State Warriors and hit on some storylines that might happen or might not happen going into Thursday's deadline for the Golden State Warriors, who right now have the second best record in the NBA. And they stated this: Golden State could gauge trade calls on James Wiseman. Why is that? He's still very young. He has a lot of ability. If he's able to bounce back to 100% coming off that knee injury, he can really be an impact player on both ends of the floor. And throughout his rookie year, as I talked about, he showed a lot of flashes. 11.5 points per game as a rookie, nearly 6 rebounds. He gave the Warriors about a block per night and shot almost 52% from the floor, and he started experimenting with extending his game out to the three-point arc. Now, when you look at this Warriors roster, they obviously are paced by Steph Curry, who's in the thick of the MVP conversation. Klay Thompson has started to look really good over the last week and change. Hopefully Draymond Green comes back off of those injuries. And then you have a lot of veterans on this roster, but some of the young pieces on this roster, like a James Wiseman, Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, as well as a Moses Moody. And Wiseman has value to other teams if the Warriors are looking for upgrades. So if the Warriors wanted to bring in a player like Miles Turner, a deal to get it done to attract Indiana, a rebuilding team who is stockpiling a bunch of young players, would be to trade away James Wiseman for the veteran in Miles Turner, and maybe that helps your championship chances this year. I don't think that happens because I think Golden State is trying to mix and match, contending now and also building for the future, and I also think the Warriors really like James Wiseman, but Wiseman to other suitors certainly has value, and that's why he's being mentioned in some of these NBA trade talks. What would Dub Nation do? Where are you at on James Wiseman? Hasn't played in 10 months. He's been injury prone. Would you trade him for an impact veteran? Get into the comment section right now. Type T for trade, type K for keep, be Bob Myers, and get into the general manager's shoes right now. As I mentioned off the top, Golden State Warriors today presented to you today by the Fetch Rewards app. This app, like Steph Curry at the end of the fourth quarter, knocking down a 3 just past half court, is a straight-up game changer. With the Fetch Rewards app, you scan your receipts, you get points back for those receipts, and over time, those points add up to you getting free gift cards to places like Amazon, Starbucks, Fanatics, and a whole bunch of other stores. It's free, easy to use. You just click that orange button, you scan your receipts, and you earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant. Then you redeem those points for gift cards and other rewards. If you go to chatsports.com/fetch and you enter the promo code Warriors, you get 3,000 bonus points. Get rewarded for all of your shopping by plugging in that link, which will be available in the comments section as well as the description of this video. More tidbits from Bleacher Report. They said the Golden State Warriors, if another team were to call about Jonathan Kuminga, they'd immediately shut them up. They'd immediately hang up. And I see why. I'm really high on Jonathan Kuminga, especially with how he's played really since Christmas time and ever since Draymond Green went out of the lineup. So these are his last 15 games, 12 points per game, 4.5 boards. He's shooting a little shy of 51% from the floor and about 32% from distance. He's an impact player offensively, but defensively he can be a menace because he's so athletic and he can guard multiple positions, and he's a human highlight reel if he gets the ball in space. Kuminga, freaky, folks. Great size and athleticism. Reminds me a lot in that regard of a player like Jaylen Brown, who, like Kuminga, was raw when he entered the NBA. Kuminga, because of that size, athleticism, burst, and quickness, has wonderful defensive upside. I think he can be a Draymond Green type of player on that end of the floor. His playmaking has impressed. I didn't realize that when he was coming from the G League Ignite, he could put the ball on the floor a little bit and display a little wiggle. His shooting stroke has certainly shown some growth from last year at the G League level. And in the modern day NBA, where we're talking about positionless basketball, Jonathan Kuminga is a modern day freaky player who can play and guard multiple positions. Now, I don't think the Warriors are going to trade away Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think they should or would or are going to trade away a player like James Wiseman. But if a Warriors trade happens, we have you covered on Golden State Warriors today. And hey, we got the Golden State Warriors ball rocking right now because my three-point stroke, absolutely clean. Non-stop Warriors coverage all year long. Just make sure you hit that red subscribe button or go to youtube.com/WarriorsTV. As we've talked about a lot on the show, the Warriors, if you look at that roster, the biggest need for Golden State, it's in that front court. They need a very good center in addition to Kevon Looney if James Wiseman isn't able to return to the floor. Bleacher Report on the Warriors front court upgrades. Golden State has two players on the roster who stand 6'10 or taller. Nemanja Bjelica, who plays a finesse game, and James Wiseman, who has not logged a second since tearing his meniscus in April. If the Warriors plan on playing as much small ball as possible, this isn't necessarily a big concern. But what if their championship path puts them against players like DeAndre Ayton or Joel Embiid or the Joker or Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo? Are they completely comfortable trusting Draymond Green and Kevon Looney to handle those matchups? Another additional nugget on top of that, what is the injury status for Draymond Green? And is he going to be able to return to the lineup healthy and be the same all-NBA defender and all-star that he's been throughout his career, as he was just named to his 4th all-star game? Big questions for Golden State going into the NBA trade deadline. I do think this roster is good enough to survive without bringing in another big man. And maybe they look to the buyout market and they look at players like a Robin Lopez or any of the other bigs who hit the open market to sign them as free agents. Then they don't have to trade some of those players away. The buyout market in the NBA has really become a viable avenue and resource to add to your roster without giving anything significant or notable up. And I think that's where Golden State could go toward if they do not make a trade at the deadline. Speaking of the NBA trade deadline, on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, you see that link down below, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. We're going to be going live on Thursday starting at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. But here on Golden State Warriors today, I want you to get into the comment section. Will the Warriors make a trade? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Get those votes in. And another reminder, NBA trade deadline live here on Chat Sports NBA Now with myself and Harrison Graham coming your way on Thursday on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Join us for the most watched, most interactive NBA trade deadline coverage right here on YouTube.